Well, we just want to pop in here tonight and tell you kind of what we're expecting here as we head towards the end of the week. There's no severe threat tonight. There's not going to be any severe weather tomorrow in our area. It will all stay way out to our west. But starting Friday and into this weekend, we're going to have a couple of opportunities to see some stronger storms across the area. So we thought we'd take the opportunity to just kind of break down what we're seeing, where the greatest threats are, or at least the highest likelihood of seeing those stronger storms would be, and kind of get you set up for the weekend. Don't cancel any plans that you have for outside this weekend, but have a plan B. Have that backup plan. And if you're going to be out and about, also know where your safe place would be if, you're at the movies or you've gone camping this weekend. You can still go, but you may have to spend part of that time in your safe place dodging a thunderstorm, which may or may not actually impact you, but it could get close enough to. So it's always good to be prepared, right? So our first severe weather threat locally in the St. Louis area is probably not going to happen until Friday. And even it's a little bit questionable as you get closer to St. Louis. There's a better chance from mid-Missouri, northeast Missouri, and then going back to the west that there will be some stronger thunderstorms on Friday. So that severe weather threat, and everything's still on the table. There could be some gusty winds. There could be some hail with some of these storms, maybe some isolated tornadoes, which you'll see in just a minute. It's certainly not locked in stone. There's no guarantee that even though this risk area exists and it includes the metro area, Metro St. Louis, at least the west side of the metro area, is level 2 out of 5. As you get into central St. Louis County, down into Jefferson County, and then heading east, it's a level 1 risk, but not as high, right? So then we're going to go into the weekend. On Saturday, the severe weather risk is going to be highest across parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, down into North Texas. Okay, that's where we're very confident there will be quite a bit of severe weather Saturday into Saturday night. Notice that risk area is back just to our west and to our northwest. So from Bowling Green north up into Quincy, Hannibal, Kirksville, then back out towards mid-Missouri. That's where the greatest threat would be on Saturday, if those storms can make it in. As we go into Sunday, the threat shifts farther east. And this area has been pretty consistent. We still have some timing issues we have to work on, like exactly where the line of thunderstorms will be developing and if it's going to come at a favorable time or a more favorable time for severe weather, to have all those ingredients in place so that the storms can be intense. Or do we get clusters of showers and thunderstorms early in the day that kind of mess things up for severe weather opportunities? And be honest, that's okay with us. So the timing's still somewhat uncertain here on Friday, and their timing is still somewhat uncertain on Sunday. As we get closer, and really we're going to have to get into tomorrow before we can really start pinpointing Friday, and most likely it'll be Friday night into Saturday when we start pinpointing the opportunities that exist as we go into Sunday. Why are we having this? Well, it doesn't look particularly impressive here, but right here, coming onshore of the West Coast in California is an upper level disturbance. Nice little upper level low here, just swinging ashore. That's caught up in the jet stream, but it's kind of separating from the main area of the jet stream. So you have one batch of stronger winds to the north, and then you have another batch kind of cycling around under that. Anytime we have one of these systems that pushes in from the West Coast into the Southwest, you can see it's already starting to drive showers and even some thunderstorms as of Wednesday evening across parts of Nevada and into Utah, Idaho. That trend just continues. So that disturbance will actually be making its way towards us by Friday evening. And it swings out of the southwest and lifts to our northwest during the afternoon and evening hours on Friday. So that's why we think the better chances for severe weather would be farther to our west, because that's closer to where that actual energy is going to be moving, which of course is one of the sources for severe weather. But that's not the only one we're dealing with. This is a series of disturbances. So there's another strong one that will, by the time we get to Friday night, be making its way into the southwest part of the U.S. And as it does so, that is going to carve out quite a bit of severe weather, we think, Saturday. Remember, we were just talking about North Texas up into Kansas. Well, there it is. There's your big chunk of energy moving right in that general direction. And then that swings towards us as we go into Sunday. So it's an active weekend pattern. How much activity we'll see locally is still up in the air. But this is an active pattern, especially for areas to our west. And the severe weather potential does appear to be increasing at this point. So we look at Friday. We think what we see Thursday that develops out to our west, some of that will be trying to drift in here during the morning hours on Friday. So it's likely we'll have some morning showers and thunderstorms around on Friday. Odds are we are not going to see severe weather at that point. For whatever reason, the data was missing there during the mid-afternoon hours on Friday. But there we go into later Friday evening. And potentially a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. Could they be strong? Well, the focus for that stronger activity appears to be farther to our west. And then we notice that broken line as it nudges closer to St. Louis tends to fizzle a bit. But then you have the area across southeast Missouri down into Arkansas. So we'll have to watch that. But here's the thing. The area for prime severe weather back to our west and northwest. Overnight, in this particular situation, doesn't look particularly favorable for us to see severe weather, which is a good thing. So this is kind of what the anticipation, one of the models that we'll be looking at here going into Friday morning. Some areas of rain, and could be fairly widespread showers and rumbles of thunder, but this should not be severe during the morning hours. You're still far enough removed from the forcing and the energy you would need. But as we head towards the midday and into the afternoon, we kind of break things apart a little bit. And there doesn't look to be a whole lot of redevelopment at this point. So it's very chancy going into the evening that we would see any stronger thunderstorms. And then as we head towards later on in the evening and overnight, maybe some of these showers and thunderstorms, which would have the potential of some heavy rain versus severe weather, will try to drift up and across the region. Again, this is just a serving suggestion. It is not locked in stone by any stretch. Then we go into Sunday. And the main focus will be later in the day, we think, on Sunday into Sunday evening, because the cold front will be back to our west. And as that's nudging towards us, that's usually when we would get our better forcing. But here's the thing. If we push it too late into the evening, then we've lost some of the heat from the day, and maybe we're less favorable and we can't sustain the strongest of the storms, and the severe weather threat ends up being a little lower. You know, we don't know this far out. That's the bottom line. And one of the things we look at is the amount of energy that's available, the available energy, the instability in the atmosphere. This is how much energy from the computer model that might be available for these storms. And you see here by Friday evening, the big focus is still well to our west. There's a tremendous amount of energy out there, but not as much so around St. Louis. As we go through Friday night and into early Saturday morning, you know, when you lose the heat of the day, you lose some of that energy. Back to the west, though, there's still plenty of moisture and energy to work together. So as we go into Saturday morning, and remember that Saturday severe weather setup here across parts of Kansas down into Oklahoma, that's where it really starts showing up. And as we go into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, look at how you have those really bright colors. And that's an indication of energy that's pretty much off the charts. And, you know, you are ripe for severe weather if you can get the storms to get going. Now, you also notice for St. Louis, we're in some pretty bright colors too. We're in that red shading, higher amounts of available energy. But just like shaking up a soda bottle, you know, as long as the lid stays on that thing, that energy is contained in the bottle. And we don't think on Saturday, based on everything we're seeing so far, and we can't guarantee it, but based on everything we're seeing so far, the focus is all to our west, and even going into the overnight hours Saturday, it stays to our north and west, but there is a lot of potential energy there. It's just that doesn't look like we're going to be able to tap into that and break through it. Now, by Sunday morning, you see that available energy has kind of decreased somewhat, but then as we go into Sunday afternoon, it starts to increase again. And again, the focus looks like it's out to the west. And that's going to be closer to the actual front itself. So we would expect to see something develop along that front. But then as that front nudges into mid-Missouri during the evening hours, look at this. We've lost our heating of the day on Sunday. And so we may not have as much energy. Now, that can be overcome by a couple of things. You don't always have to have the highest amount of available energy. You can also overcome that with strong jet stream winds. You can overcome that with the other ingredients. The right placement of the other ingredients can compensate for a lack of one thing or another. So at this point, while there's still quite a bit of uncertainty, Friday and Sunday are our first weather alert days. So both for thunderstorms. Friday we'll have some in the morning. Then we think there's a break. The severe risk looks to be later in the day, based on everything we're seeing right now, more likely into the evening, if we can get things to go. Any showers or thunderstorms Saturday seem to be limited. Even into Saturday night, it looks like the focus is still north and west of us. Sunday is a wait-and-see kind of day. We're pretty confident there will be showers and thunderstorms. In fact, we're more confident that we'll see rain on Sunday versus, Saturday for sure. Friday, we're confident there's something in the morning, but we don't think it's severe. And, Sunday is our day to watch. Now, we're coloring them orange right now, so that's just our weather alert. If it becomes increasingly likely that there's going to be big impacts on Friday from strong to severe thunderstorms, or that our morning rush hour is going to be a complete drenched out time, it's possible we could color it red and go into storm alert. Same thing goes for Sunday. Depending on how things look on Sunday with our potential for severe weather and thunderstorms, as the confidence increases and or the probability increases, we may start coloring it red. Certainly the Storm Prediction Center will have a say in that as we mitigate what's going on. And I just talked a lot about this, and I just realized that you all really couldn't see me with all my gestures because I didn't have the button quite flipped the way it was. So I'm just going to show this again because now you can see me. It's technology, and it's on my end. When I have to push the buttons, we're all in trouble. So again, this is your available energy, and we can I can gesture. I can actually show you. See how it's feeding up ahead. This is the first round that we go through on Friday, but it's focused to our west. As we go into Saturday, everything is still focused out here to the west. Early in the morning, when you have a lot of available energy, that's a good sign that you're going to see stuff rumbling up. It's a very clear sign during the day, and it really gets focused here out in western Missouri, Kansas, down into Oklahoma. But we have plenty of energy available. We just think it's not going to be able to be tapped into. And thus, Saturday, we don't think is a big problem for St. Louis based on everything we're seeing right now. Sunday morning, we should start relatively quiet, but then things get warm. We're humid. Winds are still out of the south. You're looking at that energy out to our west Sunday afternoon. By the time the front gets closer to us, though, we lose some of that energy. So just kind of recapping this 7-day forecast. I know I just said this, but now I can actually gesture to it. Friday and Sunday. Those are our two big days of concern. Friday, it's in the morning for general showers and thunderstorms. Then that complicates our potential later in the day and into the evening of whether we'll be able to get unstable enough, whether we'll be able to see storms redevelop, to our west and slide in here. I just ate dinner a few minutes ago too. And then on Sunday, again, is there any morning cloud cover around? But the front's coming later Sunday. If it holds back until later Sunday evening after we've lost some of the heat of the day, well, then that tends to make it less intense. There may still be some showers lingering on Monday, but then we should settle down at least through the middle of the week before the end of next week gets a little more active. So, our bottom line is, yeah, we're on weather alert. We're going to stay weather aware going through the next few days, particularly on Friday and Sunday. The timing is still highly uncertain, specifics especially on where it's going to be and who has the better shot at it. That's all going to be ironed out as we get closer. But then as we go into, the end of the weekend, that timing on Sunday is going to be critical. If that front speeds up a little bit during the afternoon hours versus late evening, then we could really have some pretty intense thunderstorms here. So it's just too soon to say. But we wanted to kind of give you a quick little update tonight on what we were thinking as we're looking ahead towards the next few days. And of course, as always, we will keep you updated.